each and every one of you to the 2022 Flags of Honor ceremony. We'll begin with an opening prayer by Reverend Pepperdin.
Everyone, please bow your heads. Our Father in heaven, we very humbly bow our heads before you this afternoon, God. We're so thankful and grateful, Lord, that you allowed us to be here, God, to be honored to be a part of this service. Each one that's made it out this way today, God, we pray that you bless them, Lord, while they're here, God, and God, that you touch their hearts. God, we thank you for traveling mercies for those who came from distance to be here, Father. We pray for traveling mercies as they travel home. God, we praise while we're here today and give the speakers and the singers and God, all those involved, Lord, a clear voice to know that get the message out of why we're here. God, as we walk through each aisle of these flags, Father, we're reminded, Lord, of the sacrifices that were made so that we can have service, not only have services like this, Lord, that enjoy be able to be here with one another. Lord, we thank you, Lord, for the blood that was shed upon all the battlefields around this world by our great military. God, to give us a hope of tomorrow. We just pray that we never fail to remember that, God. God, we never fail to give you the praise and honor and glory for allowing us to be where we are, where we live, where we've grown up. Lord, you've given us that we can take the rest of our lives and show it to the next generation, to the next, and to the next. Because that's why we're here today. And because somebody told us. God, we want to remember that. Be with us, Lord. Be with each one that's here. God, help us through this week. Not only through the rest of our lives, but especially this week, Lord. We remember our heroes. God, that we take that in our minds. God, we understand why we're here. God, how blessed we are. Thank you, Lord, for your many blessings down through our life. Thank you most for Jesus Christ, who gives the ultimate hope. It's in Jesus' name we pray and ask these things.
Thank you, Reverend Pepperdin, for those words of faith and encouragement. I'd be remiss if I didn't point out that Chad is also a veteran of the 216th Engineer Battalion, Ohio Army National Guard. And thank you for your past service and for being here with us tonight. At this time, we're going to have our national anthem sang by Demi Sings. Demi, thank you so much. This time, we're going to have the playing of taps by Michael Smith. Thank you, Michael. Now we'll hear a rendition of Amazing Grace on the bagpipes provided by Greg McFarland. Thank you, Greg. This time you can take your seats. As we continue on, I'd like to take a moment and say thank you to our supporters and sponsors. And first and foremost, I'd like to thank everyone that's here with us tonight. The committee would also like to thank the Lawrence County Commissioners for working with us to support this event. The court system that has assisted us with the labor, the Veteran Service Office, who has also helped put this together, our individual and corporate sponsors, and also the many volunteers who made this event possible. We are pleased and proud to be able to offer this flag display as a tribute to those fallen heroes from Lawrence County from World War I on, and actually the first responders that are also incorporated in this. And that wouldn't be possible without the help and support of so many folks. And I'd just like to give all of them a round of applause. Thank you. At this time, I'm going to pause for a moment and let the train pass. I can't script everything. Moments like this, someone once told me, just start and roll with it. You're the only one who knows what's supposed to happen anyway. I hope that's true. I think they're far enough now we can pull this off. At this time, it is my distinct honor to introduce simply one of the finest individuals I've ever known. And that would be our featured speaker this evening, State Senator Terry Johnson, who represents the 14th Senate District in the 134th Ohio General Assembly. Terry is a native of Scioto County who grew up in a blue-collar household, worked himself through school at Shawnee State University, went on to graduate from the Ohio University College of Osteopathic Medicine. And since 2011, and yet to this day, he is the first and remains the only osteopathic physician who's ever served in the Ohio General Assembly. He's also a retiree and a veteran of the Ohio Army National Guard. I had the privilege of first meeting Terry 30 years ago as a young medical student when he showed up for duty on the first day. That young man went on to make full colonel, and actually before he retired was assigned and served very effectively as the state surgeon for the Ohio Army National Guard, and was responsible for the medical readiness of over 15,000 personnel. That was the highest position that a medical doctor could hold in that organization at that time. He has served over 10 years now in the General Assembly as a state representative and state senator. Before that, he was the Scioto County coroner for 8 years. He has received some of the highest recognition possible as an osteopathic physician, an educator, a soldier, and a legislator. And yet, for all that, he's never forgotten where he comes from. When we first arrived in Columbus, when he began his first term and I was serving as his legislative aide, I remember someone says one day, you know, how do we address you? Do we call you, he had a committee chair, so he said, we call you Mr. Chairman, Representative, Colonel, Doctor, and just as you saw tonight, he said, call me Terry. That's the essence of the man. We both had an interesting adjustment going from the military, where everyone seems to genuinely, and sincerely appreciate you, into the world of politics, where that's not always true. And I still remember one of the first challenges that Terry got. Someone said, tell me your position in 10 words or less. I thought, oh boy. Terry said, pro-God, pro-life, pro-gun, pro-family, pro-America. Well, they were irritated because he achieved that. They said, all right now, all right, fine. Tell us what you're against in 2 words. He said everything else. So with that, it is my distinct privilege to introduce you tonight to our speaker, Senator Terry Jones.
Well, howdy. How's everybody tonight? I remember a Navy night. I was up here, and in my full dress uniform, I was still in the Ohio Army National Guard, and it was hot and muggy, and we started marching. I knew things weren't going to go exactly right. It was with a bunch of Navy reservists. They were in their finest dress whites. And I couldn't figure out as we marched over why they were all out of step with me. Turns out they weren't doctors, they knew how to march. Absolutely delighted to be here tonight. And you know, in contrast to that night, you know, we actually got started out pretty well, things were going pretty good. And then we heard a rumble over the hills of Kentucky. And then there came a wind, and there came thunder, and then actual lightning. And a lot of people left, but some people didn't. And in the gale that ensued, I got soaked. And so did the Boy Scouts, and so did Scott. But we stood there and we did it. We got it done. Because that was a solemn ceremony that needed to be done. And they laid the wreath. And my dad was in the Navy. And I tell you what, a lot of people say, hey, you join the Navy if you don't want to do combat. That's just crazy. There is no place to hide if you're in the Navy. If those shells are coming in and you're on a little ship out there in the water, there's no place to hide. I got the greatest respect possible for the Navy, and that was a wonderful night. I was glad I was invited to do that. A lot of people get confused about what we're doing here today, Memorial Day. And I see a lot of people on social media get mad at people that don't understand the difference between Veterans Day and Armed Forces Day and Memorial Day. They get really irritated, and they'll do something like put in all caps, don't wish me a happy Memorial Day, and just chastise people. Well, I tell you what, there are a lot of people that don't understand the difference, but that's not the way to change their mind or to educate them. We want to tell people what this is about, because it is so important to America that we honor and respect those who have fallen, those who got on those planes, got on those ships, loaded up on the train, last time seen by their families and their sweethearts and their loved ones, and never came back. That's what it's about, and that's what we need to understand. And we don't want people to be sad and miserable on Memorial Day or feel like they've done the wrong thing. We want them to enjoy their families. This is a time of gathering. And if you look back at what Memorial Day once was, it was called Decoration Day, back before the Civil War. And it was when people came out to honor all their families and friends, and they'd gather around the little churches all across America, and they'd have picnics, and they'd wave the flags, and it was time to come together. And if you look around us now, we see everything pulling us apart. Everybody's mad at each other. Everybody's got a big opinion. That opinion counts more than anybody else's opinion. And you get on social media again, which I don't highly recommend, by the way. You get on social media again, and everybody's mad. Everybody's divided. You say something, they'll jump all over you. We need things like this to bring us together and remind us what it means to be Americans. That's what we are. And so this is a weekend to hold your family close. It's a weekend to be happy and be joyous because we are Americans. And at the same time, we got to have great respect for why we're able to do that. Because people have actually donned the uniform of all the different services we have, and they've gone overseas, and they fought to keep our freedom. They fought to make it so that we could hold our family close. Who here today is a veteran? Raise your hand high. Thank you very much for your service. Who here has lost someone in the military? God bless you. Our country owes you a great debt. Our soldiers, our sailors, our Marines, our airmen, they've been engaged on every continent and every sea. And especially here in southern Ohio and northern Kentucky, our people have always stood up and served. There have been some exceptions, but nothing like anywhere else. Here people are proud of the military, proud of what it means to put that uniform on. There aren't a lot of cowards here. I have an uncle that served in Vietnam. He lost 7 tanks. He was a tanker. He started as a tank loader, worked his way to tank driver, worked his way to tank commander. And the last tank he was in operation of in Vietnam in 1967 took an RPG. He got blown out of the tank, knocked unconscious. The VC came by, checked him for dead, left him alone, moved on. They had to get moving. He woke up and came home. I've got an Uncle Don who served in World War II. He graduated from Manchester High School, went right into the service in 1943, fought hard all the way across France and in the Battle of the Bulge. He came home. My dad was in the Korean War. He was a sailor, served on CV-10, USS Yorktown, which is tied up down in Charleston. He came home. I am absolutely blessed to be able to say that. But you know, when I was a little guy, my dad's picture in his sailor suit with his white hat cocked just so, because he was 19, had that hat just the way he's going to wear it, not the way the Navy wanted to wear it. And that picture he got taken in Seattle, Washington, looks like an oil painting. That picture was in my house the whole time I was growing up. And I respected him because he served our nation. So yes, we need to be somber. Yes, we need to be respectful. But we need to remember that we're Americans and we need to draw our neighbors in. Everybody in Ironton should be here today.
That's right.
They're not. You are. So you're messengers. You need to take this message back to your friends and neighbors and say, not why weren't you here in big capital letters, but you know, you really would have enjoyed this. And do you know what was sacrificed so that you could be enjoying your weekend on Memorial Day? I have met so many good people in the military, including Scott Evans. Some of the best friends I have in life I met while serving, including Scott Evans. I treasure that time, and I'm also happy to say that when I was deployed to a combat zone, I came home. I'm also happy to say that when he was deployed to a combat zone in a completely different role, he came home. This man led people in combat. I was a doctor. They took good care of me. This guy's actually seen fire and came home. So it is wonderful for all of us that came home, and if you ask us who the real heroes are, we always say, it's not us, it's the ones that didn't come home. Thank you so much for being here today. Thank you for being in the right place with the right heart. God bless you all, and God bless America.
Thank you so much, Jerry. And as the Senator said, no one who's ever been in combat isn't quick to tell you that they know someone who did more and sacrificed more than they did. You know, when we were listening to Terry speak, he mentioned the fact that he'd been to a combat zone. He didn't tell you he went 3 times. He actually spent 3 tours in Southwest Asia in support of Operation Iraqi Freedom. One time when asked about it, something Terry said is very appropriate for tonight's ceremony. They asked him about his experience. He said, well, I'm a doctor. He said, but I supported combat troops. He said, I walked among giants and I honored heroes. And that's why we're here tonight. These flags represent individuals from Lawrence County who gave their lives for our freedom, who gave their lives for our way of life, who gave their lives for our future and that of our families. And we can't be grateful enough. And I, for that reason, am so thankful to each and every one of you who's here with us tonight. And at this time, we have a poem that I've been asked to read that I think summarizes this event very well and the purpose of the committee and the flags of honor. The ultimate sacrifice is to lay down your life for God, family, and country. Countless soldiers that charged into battle, knowing they wouldn't return to their loved ones and might never be laid to rest in their native soil. Yet they took the risk, fought hard to the end, and hoped their efforts would turn the tide toward victory. They made the ultimate sacrifice for their fellow soldiers, for their country, for you and me. May God bless them eternally. And folks, with that concludes our ceremony this evening. I would encourage each of you to attend as many of the remaining Memorial Day events here in Ironton that you can this weekend. Tomorrow night there will be fireworks on the riverbank starting at 9:30. There is the ceremony at Woodland Cemetery at 2 p.m. on Sunday. And then, of course, on Monday morning at 10 o'clock, starting right here at 4th and Center, we have the 154th iteration of the longest continually running Memorial Day parade in the United States. And all that's possible because of the great character of this community. And again, I'm going to thank you for being here. I wish you all a wonderful evening, and on behalf of the committee, we are so glad you came and joined us this evening. Thank you so much.